Hi guys, we'll keep this short and sweet. Essentially, I suppose kinesiology, lots of people might have heard of it before, those who didn't. It's bioenergy is another word some people use, so it's actually essentially the energy from within the body. It's done through muscle testing. Again, it's a world where some people are really skeptical of, but again, in this short video, we're just explaining that we're going to be giving you lots of content to show the history of it, to show you results of it, real life results then with people as well. So Jade will just fly through, I suppose, the few things that we can test if somebody was getting a full test from start to finish, from their energetic point of view all the way to food, for example.
Okay, so we'd obviously start with, figuring out what's going on for you at the minute. As you're going through that, I'll be starting to piece together what it might be. Then we get into testing. We always find out what the underlying meridian is. Obviously, you would have heard Shane talking a lot about the meridian system in the body. It's really important, and it's important for balance overall. So anything that we can test to see what is it exactly that's affecting this underlying meridian. So we can go through toxicity, ATP, which is the energy in the body. We can go through food intolerances. Is it this? Are you putting something into your body that's causing the energy to be off balance? Are you lacking in any nutrients? So basically you always follow the underlying meridian, so you always relate it back to that. So if a toxin shows up in the body, then we move on to nutrition. Figure out, well, are you putting something in that's feeding this toxin, or do you need something to get rid of it?
Cool. So again, it can get really detailed as well. Just like she's saying, you just got to keep going to the next layer, there's a crossover obviously when we're doing treatments. If you could show up with, you've done the hamstring, even for example a physical injury, you've done it 8 times, 9 times, you've done all the rehab protocol, but all of a sudden it starts to move into an energetic area. There may be an emotion linked, there could be a massive fear around that particular injury, and all of a sudden it starts to affect the bladder line, for example. Then all of a sudden when people identify that, they start to realise and say, actually, now that you say it, I would have a very weak bladder maybe, or I actually can store very little, I tend to go to the toilet a lot. So these are the studies that we've seen that we haven't shared at all. Some of the testimonials are obviously the end product, but it's very difficult to share all the ongoings of what went, because at the end of the day, for a lot of people it can be personal too. So thanks for filling out the link. Over the next few weeks, as I said, we'll be giving you lots of little bits of I suppose studies. I might do a podcast on it as well, but it's just going to open up your mind essentially to this world. Okay, you may be, I suppose they talk about far left, far right, but if you're doing a lot of, for example, I talked about skin condition today. If you're putting skin cream on the body and it's not clearing anything, well then we have to figure out where is it manifesting from within, and then it appears to show up as a skin issue, or it may appear to show up as a physical pain, or you talked in the story about bloating, all these different things, okay, acid in the stomach and so on. So we'll leave it at that, guys, unless you have anything else.
Yeah, so the biokinesiology it's basically constantly asking the body questions, and your body is giving us the answers based on what we're putting on and what we're asking. So it's never used to treat symptoms or diagnose. What our main aim is to do is to get to the underlying cause for the symptoms that you have, because if we're just treating symptoms, they're just going to keep coming back if you don't actually treat what's causing them, and that's the aim of what all of this is.
And that even goes back again to, some people like to keep it physical. Again, the whole hamstring thing, that's a physical issue. A diagnosis might be a physical tear that keeps happening on an MRI, but then when we just explained how very quickly all of a sudden there's an underlying issue. So yeah, we will talk to you again soon, and I said there'll be a lot more information and all that stuff. Cheers.